Thanks very much. Good afternoon, members, and welcome to this meeting of the Annandale and Eskdale Area Committee, which is being live streamed and recorded. The recording will be made available on the Council website for public listening. Remote participant, please follow the good practice guidance, which includes muting microphones and switching off your video when you're not addressing the meeting. Write and speak in the Teams chat function when you want to contribute. If you are in the hall, you can do this on your iPhone or iPad. Please don't repeat contributions already made by other members. No material should be posted in the chat function if it is intended as part of the discussion. The usual standing orders apply, including that any votes will be undertaken by roll call. If any member has to leave the meeting, please either write leave in the Teams function for that period of time or write leave in the chat function and then join when you rejoin the meeting so we can keep track on whether the meeting is quorate. All members should speak clearly and directly into the microphone when making contributions, and when referring to reports, please provide reference to the relevant page and paragraph to allow everyone to follow. Please focus contributions on the area where clarification is required or to propose an alternative to a recommendation. Item 1 is Sediment apologies and Chair's approval of members' remote participation. Tracy, can you provide the Sediment any apologies, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. We've currently got 5 members present, all on Teams. Not present is Councillor Brodie, Councillor Ian Crothers, Councillor Karen Crothers, Councillor Mail, Councillor Thompson, and our youth council representatives. And I have one apology from Councillor McGregor. Councillor Thompson's in now, so that's fine. And I confirm my agreement to the remote participation. That moves us into declarations of interest. Members have any declarations of interest? Yeah, but I said that, Stephen, that you are here. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so there's no any declarations of interest. So item 3 is Economy and Resources End of Year Assessment and Business Plan 2019-23 Performance 1st of April 21 to 31st of March 2022. Report by the Director of Economy and Resources. It's our only item for today's meeting is the Economy and Resources End of Year Assessment and Business Plans Performance. And this report was previously presented on the 23rd of November 2022 and the item was at that time deferred. Whilst I wasn't at the last area committee meeting, I am aware that members were keen to understand more about the work being undertaken locally associated with Kickstart. Perhaps when I open up to officers, they could provide an update on this area initially before I open to members. Stuart McMillan and Jamie Little are on Teams to answer any members' questions or address any members' comments. Stuart and Jamie, can you provide us with some further detail of the rollout of Kickstart in Annandale and Eskdale? Stuart, perhaps.
Yep. Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. So, I don't have any specific details on numbers, etc., on the Kickstart programme, but we can certainly amplify the detail that's been provided in 343 for members of the committee. But Kickstart, obviously, being a significant part of the employability and skills partnership work, has been being rolled out by our colleagues in business and enterprise. Apologies, I don't have very specific details on that, but we will provide a full note for the committee. Is okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Jamie, have you got anything to add to the report?
Thanks, Chair. No, nothing further to add to the report this time.
Okay, members, over to yourself. And George, you've got a question.
Yeah, I've got 2 or 3 questions. When you're doing your investigations, I would like to know what sectors have benefited from Kickstart, how you overcame the complexities of Kickstart, because the complexities made it pretty much unavailable to some sectors, including agriculture, which is one of our biggest economic sectors. Also, some information on No One Left Behind. Where are we with that? So if you could do some research on that, it'd be really interesting. And how closely is your work with not only Department of Work and Pensions, but also developing the young workforce and schools and colleges? It's also maybe irrelevant or not, but Kickstart's finished. It finished last year, I think. So I'm interested in also, is there a legacy for Kickstart? Because it was a UK government initiative that came with a lot of admin that made it very difficult to actually implement. But the notion, I believe, was quite good. But can we in Dumfries and Galloway, working with Department of Work and Pensions, actually look at where Kickstart was successful and where Kickstart was not successful, and we can build on that in Dumfries and Galloway for the young people that are looking for experience in jobs.
Okay. So, Stuart, do you want to answer that?
So, Councillor Jameson, there is, I think, opportunities now arising on the back of some of those comments with the recent announcements that from the UK government regarding the Shared Prosperity Fund, and the fact that we have had allocations confirmed to Dumfries and Galloway amongst all the other Scottish local authorities, and a programme of work to essentially be advanced on local priorities. I think training and in-job training is part and parcel of that. But I'll make sure that's included in the note that we provide further to your queries.
Yeah, if I could just come back in that, actually.
Yeah.
If you couldn't, I'm sure you've done this, look closely at where the barriers were. My knowledge in this is largely to do with agriculture, and in my previous job I did a lot of work with Department of Work and Pensions, and some of the barriers were reasonably easy to overcome, but not in the short timescales that COVID put in front of us. Things like pre-training before they go onto a farm or a forest and things like that. But these are major industries in Dumfries and Galloway. So it would be good to have the context of the different sectors within Dumfries and Galloway, so that we can put a more practical solution to both the employers and the young folk involving the local colleges in the area, who are very open to giving folk starter packs and things like that, so that people have got experience, and then the employers are not starting from base. I'm sure you'll do that anyway, but just from my experience in agricultural and forestry sector, that these were major barriers. The fact that there were small industry sectors as well, it was a real problem. I know Dumfries and Galloway worked very hard to overcome that, but it's lessons learned for the future that might benefit us going forward. But thanks anyway.
Okay, thanks, George. Anybody else before I start? Jamie, it's for yourself with regards 3.6.3 on the strategic housing projects at the moment. It's Murton Farm and Langham. Myself and Councillor Mail had a meeting with Property Services last week, and we understand that the bridge that's going to come across from the Murton side of things is actually going to land on a piece of land that's common good. So I've asked for a quick report to come to area committee and communities, because we've been waiting on this for the last 3 years in Langham to actually get started. And I believe that one of the things that needs to happen first is the infrastructure's in place before the build starts. So just to show you're aware that it is land. It's a small triangle of land that lands on common good, and obviously we have to get best value if that is the case. So Property Services will be coming back to area committee on this one. We have suggested appropriate best value, in that hopefully Lordburn will take on maintenance of that particular area, plus also that opens up to the health and well-being of the people of Langham with the use of the bridge and that across it, and that opens up walkways and things like that for for them. So just so you're aware on that one. I don't know if you are.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. No, I have been made aware of that issue recently and have spoken to Property Services, who've obviously advised that they're going to be following the due process for the area of common good. And obviously, as you're aware, the project has met a number of challenges in terms of delivery. The footbridge and the cycle bridge will be a great addition to the project, though, allowing all those residents to access the town centre of Langham within fairly easy walking distance rather than having to take their cars around and over the roads. So it will be a benefit. It has been very challenging, but we do hope that some progress can be made very swiftly on that project.
Okay, thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. It's actually back to 3.4.3 on the challenge funds. And maybe a general point about the data that we get disaggregated at area committee. So the paragraph does talk about good progress being made, etc., and then Business Gateway carrying forward various initiatives, but it's not clear how much of that's in Annandale and Eskdale, or what the numbers are, or what the trends are with those numbers. So I suppose I would ask if that detail could be included in the note that you'd be providing on the back of the Kickstart information. And also, could I suggest to yourself, Chair, when we are getting this breakdown at area committee in future, that there is some area-based data to support, some of the empirical data that supports the claims that good progress is being made. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. So, sure, can you make sure that information is passed on to members of the area committee, please?
I will, Chair. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I think the next 6 monthly, can we make sure that at least somebody's here to answer some of the questions for the second time? I believe that some of these questions couldn't be answered at the first one, so let's make sure that we get somebody here that can. Is there any other questions for members? If not, then we'll go on to the recommendation, members. We're asked to review the overall summary performance from the individual head service business plans in the Annandale and Eskdale area. 2.2, consider the additional area-based successes and developments as detailed in key successes section in the report. 3.4 to 3.6, and consider any aspect of performance to be referred to the relevant future committee. Happy to agree with those recommendations.
Yep, fine.
Okay, thank you very much, and obviously we'll get that written response to the questions that were asked by George and Stephen later on. Okay, members, that was the only item on the agenda. I have no any other information or business to discuss. Thank you for attending this short but sweet report, and I'll see you at the next one. Thanks very much.